All right, so now it says here on the left side screen, it says, sometimes you'll use prices you already know to figure out the prices of candies that you don't know. In this case, we know that the cost of each of these orange candies is 3. And so I'm going to set up an equation here. And I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 orange pieces of candy multiplied by the number each of those orange candies costs, which is 3, plus a number, and the number that we're missing is the cost of that brown candy. So I'm going to do this in brown here. And remember, we use X for a missing number, equals 40 cents total. All right, so one more time, I have 7 pieces of the orange candy. The orange candy is each worth 3 cents. And now I need to add that to the cost of the brown candy, which we don't know yet. And it equals 40 cents in total. So now I need to solve for X here. So first off, I'm going to do the 7 times 3, which gives me 21. That's the cost of all the orange candies. Plus the brown candy equals 40. So how do we get X by itself? Well, right now it's paired with positive 21. So I'm going to need to subtract 21 to get X by itself. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So 21 minus 21, that gives me nothing over here, which leaves me with just X on this left side. And it's going to equal 40 minus 21, 19 cents. So notice my equation helps me figure out what the cost of that brown candy is, and now I can just click on 19 cents. All right. Now it's asking me for the total price. So I'm going to take a look at all of the candy costs I have right now. I am going to take my orange candy, which is 3 cents a piece. I'm going to take my blue candy, which is 27 cents a piece, and my brown candy. Oh, but notice I can't use the same variable as my blue candy, so I'm going to change it to R for brown, okay, because I can't use B, and that is 19 cents. So those are my 3 different variables. All right, notice they all have different costs. Now I can plug them into an equation to figure out how much these candies cost altogether. Well, how many orange ones do I have? Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 orange ones. So 6 times O, which we know is 3, plus 27, the cost of our blue. And we could use B for that variable if we wanted to. All right. And then we're going to add that plus 19. That's the cost of our brown candy. All right. And so now when I simplify this expression here, it's going to bring me to, let's see, 6 times 3 gives me 18 plus 27 plus 19. Now I can just do math here. So 18 plus 27, that's going to give me 45, plus 19, well, it's going to be 1 less than 20 added on to 45, so it's going to be 64. Is that an option here? Well, let's go ahead and type it in. 64. Hey, look at that. All right, now it says subtract the known candy price first and divide the new price by the remaining number of candies. Looks to me like we can set up an equation here. How can we set up this equation if we have our blue candies represented by the variable B and our yellow candies represented by the variable Y? Well, right now we know that Y, the yellow candies, equal 21 cents each. Do we know the cost of the blue candies each? No, we don't. So you could use the variable X, you could use the variable B, whatever you want to use. I'm going to use the variable B here. They each cost B cents. I'm using B for blue. So now I'm going to set up an equation. I'm going to start off by writing what they equal, which is 45 cents in total. And then here, I'm going to write how many blue candies I have. Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 blue candies. So 4 multiplied by the cost of each blue candy, which again we don't know. That's why we're using B, plus the cost of the yellow candy. Do we know the cost of the yellow candy? Well, we sure do. So let's go ahead and rewrite this. 4 times B plus the cost of the yellow candy, and it tells us that's 21 cents equals 45. All right, now I think I have enough here to solve my equation. This is what we call a two-step equation. So since we're adding 21, we're going to start here, meaning we're going to have to start off by subtracting the 21 cents that we already know is made up with the yellow candy. That's part of our 45 cents total. So subtract it from both sides. That leaves us with just 4B on this right side, and that's going to equal 24 cents on the other side. So now we have to try to get that B by itself. We have to isolate our variable here. So right now I'm multiplying 4 times B. To get B alone, I'd have to divide by 4. That's going to cancel out my 4. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So now it looks like B, which is the cost of the blue candy, so I'm going to do it in blue, equals 24 divided by 4, and that's 6 cents. So I just figured out that the cost of blue candy is 6 cents. I can plug it back into B in my equation. 4 times 6 plus 21, that does equal 45. So I feel confident about this. I'm going to click on the blue candy, click on 6, boom. All right, we'll do one more example here. So if we've got 5 candies on the left side, and they add up to 20 cents, how much would each of those candies cost? That's what we're trying to figure out. So go ahead, try it on your own right now. All right, so hopefully you've had a chance to try to set it up. So here, since we have our 5 candies on the left side, we're going to go 5 times, we'll use X as our missing candy for each of the value, for each of the costs. So we're going to do 5 multiplied by X equals 20 cents over on that left side of the equation. And so here we're going to try to get X by itself. So we're going to divide each side by 5. That's how many pieces of candy there are. And that's going to leave us with X equals 4 cents. So based on the fact that those 5 candies add up to 20 cents, I'm going to say that they're each worth 4 cents based off my work that I just showed, okay? All right, there we go. We got it. So now that we figured out the cost of the blue candies, we can go ahead and use that information to figure out the cost of the yellow candies. So my equation for the right side here is going to look a little something like this. Well, let's see. I've got 4 blue candies over here on the right side. And we know that the cost of each of those blue candies is 4 cents each. Right, that's the cost of the blue candies, or I should really use X. And then we're going to have to add the cost of our yellow candies. Well, how many yellow candies do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 times the cost of, we'll use Y for yellow, and this is going to equal 36 cents total. All right, so now let's go ahead and solve. So 4 times 4, that gives me 16. And then we still have our 4 times Y over here. Because we don't know what the cost of those yellow candies is. That's what we're trying to figure out. So then we've got 16 here. And we want to get 4Y by itself. So we're going to subtract 16 from both sides. And now we have 4Y equals 20. So how can we get Y by itself here? If we have 4 multiplied by Y equals 20, how do we get Y by itself? Well, we could divide by 4 to undo the multiplication. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So now we've got Y equals 20 divided by 4, 5 cents. Hey, look at that. Using algebra and setting up an equation, I know that the yellow candy here is 5 cents. And I could plug it right back into this equation here to make sure I'm right. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times our new value of 5 is going to be 20 in total. 16 plus 20 does equal 36. So let's go ahead and put it right here in the 5-cent jar. And now we're moving on to the next problem. All right, so the biggest thing here is choosing a variable to represent that light blue candy. So maybe our light blue candy in this example is going to be represented by L for light blue. And our purple candy is going to be represented by the variable P. And this is the cost of each candy. So then in terms of how we'd set up this equation, go ahead and try it out. How can we set up these equations here? All right, so the left side here, let's go ahead and set it up. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pieces of candy. So 12 multiplied by L is going to give us $1.44. So we can solve that equation there. And then on the right side, we're going to take the numbers of blue candies we have, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blue candies. Multiply it by whatever the cost is of those blue candies, which we'll figure out up here. And then we're going to have to add that with the cost of the purple candies. And we're using the variable P to represent purple candy cost. So it's going to be 8L, so 8 times the cost of the light blue candies, plus 2 times P, the cost of the purple candies. And altogether, that's going to equal $1.42. So once I figure out what L is up here by isolating the variable, I can plug in L down here in this equation to figure out what the missing variable P is. All right, because if, let's say, this L here is 12, then I can do 8 times 12 to get 96, plus 2P equals 142. And so here, to get 2P by itself, you could subtract 96 from both sides. That's your first step. And so now we have 2P, or 2 times the cost of each purple candy, equals, let's see, 142 minus 96, that's going to be 46 cents. So 2P, how do I get P alone if I have 2 times P? Well, I could divide by 2 here and do the same thing to the other side. So I have P equals 23 cents. All right, let's go ahead and try it out. This is 12, we said, and then the purple is 23. All right, so you're going to try to get through as many possible levels on this game. You're going to try to fill all of these candy jars. That is your goal here. But you have to write equations for each problem set. All right, so try your best to write an equation for every single one of these levels. That is our whole goal here. And you're going to spend a good portion of the beginning of class on this. And so you may be working on this for 30 minutes, just writing out equations, trying to figure out where I need to put these candies, okay? Equations will help you stay organized. They'll help you solve when things get a little messy. And when you've got 3 different pieces of candy, like it's shown on the screen right now, you're going to want to have a variable for each of them. So maybe you're going to want to choose X for the red candies. Maybe you're going to want to choose Y for the blue candies. And if you know what the blue candy cost is, you can put 6 right next to it. That's how much each one costs. And then you're going to want to put a variable for the brown candies, maybe B, which we know is 19. So now we're going to try to create an equation to figure out what the cost of the red candies is. All right, so have some fun with it. This seems like a pretty fun game to me. I've liked it so far. Let me know what your thoughts are, but we're going to do this for the whole first part of the day today. All right, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.